Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do your July the 2nd just for today in a meditation. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. All right. The title of the meditation is Comparing. Our personal stories may vary in individual pattern, but in the end, we all have the same thing in common. That comes from the basic text, page 87. We addicts are a varied bunch, coming from different backgrounds, having used different drugs, and recalling different experiences. Our differences don't disappear in recovery. For some, those differences become even more pronounced. Freedom from active addiction gives us the freedom to be ourselves as we truly are. The fact that we are all recovering doesn't mean that we all necessarily have the same needs or goals. Each of us has our own lessons to learn in recovery. With so many differences from one addict to the next, how do we help one another in recovery and how do we use each other's experience? We come together to share our lives in light of the principles of recovery. Though our lives are different, the spiritual principles we apply are the same. It is by the light of these principles, shining through our differences, that we illuminate one another's way on our individual paths. We all have two things in common: addiction and recovery. When we listen carefully, we hear others tell of suffering from the same disease we have suffered from, regardless of their specific backgrounds. When we open our ears, we hear other addicts talk of applying spiritual principles that promise hope to us as well, regardless of our personal goals. Just for today, I have my own path to follow, yet I'm grateful for the fellowship of others who suffered from addiction and who are learning to apply the principles of recovery, just like me. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. So we're talking about comparing. When we look from one individual to another in recovery, we undoubtedly see that we have differences. That's a given. However, let's focus on the similarities, right? The two things we know for sure we have in common: addiction and recovery. And these spiritual principles that we're learning, they're also the same. They would come underneath that umbrella of recovery. So love is love. However, love shining through one individual's experience who possibly has abandonment issues versus another person's experience who has no abandonment issues, but has not been exposed to various cultures, the principle of love will look different as it shines through those two different individuals' lives. However, the end result is going to allow them both to come to a broader, deeper awareness of what love looks like universally. That's just the simplest example that I can use when it comes to a spiritual principle shining through all of our lives based on where we've come from and what we've passed through. Today, we're not trying to look and be like anyone else. We learn that we can be ourselves. And the more that we learn that we can be ourselves and practice being ourselves, sometimes we find that there's vast differences between ourselves and others. However, in the fellowship, even with those, we can learn from one another's example. So if we're going to be comparing in any kind of way, let it be in the sense that this is my situation. Now let me listen and learn from someone else's situation so I can see how that spiritual principle has the potential to shine through my own experience. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose.